everyone, it's Jade here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. In today's video we're going to be carrying on with this colour along from Rita Berman. So I've chosen this picture to do today with the little paint tray and the perfume bottle and everything like that. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. Okay, so first going in with Camel Brown, I'm going to go ahead and make a start on the paint tray itself. So I'm going to do a base coat on this because I want to make it look like it's wooden. I'm going to avoid the areas where the paint is so that we can do that in some nice bright colours. Next, going in with Burnt Orca, I'm going to start adding some shade. So I'm going to shade this bit here where it would be a bit darker. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in either edge and then lift the pressure as we come towards the middle so that we'll have a light patch in the middle. And I'm going to run this colour around this edge as well, just to darken this up a little bit. And then just lift the pressure to blend out the line. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this inside bit here because this would be a bit darker. And I'll also fill in this outside edge here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and add some shade underneath the paints. Here I'm going to fill in this little section completely because it's going to be in shadow from the parcel. And we'll do the same here. Then along this edge here where we've got the paintbrush, I'm going to do a little shadow from the paintbrush. And again, just lift the pressure to blend that out. We'll do a little bit of shade on this top edge here. Just join it round. And then we'll go ahead and shade this top edge too. And I'm just lifting the pressure here just to blend out any of the shadows that we've just added. Then going back in with Camel Brown, I'm going to go ahead and start to add this colour in where we've left the lighter sections. So I'm going to take it over the darker colour as well. Okay, so next going in with Pumpkin Orange, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this paint here as orange. So I'm just using normal pressure, just filling that in completely. Then I want a purple colour, so I'm going to use Lilac, and I'm going to fill this one in with the lilac. Next to the lilac, we're going to go for a really dark blue, so I'm going to go for Indigo. And we'll go ahead and fill this one in. Then we're going to use Deep Teal and go ahead and fill in this one in Deep Teal, so it'll be like a greeny blue. And then taking Chartreuse, we're going to go ahead and fill in this one, so this is going to be like a really light green. Then taking Steel Grey, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little piece here, which I'm assuming would be like the little metal casing on top of your brush. Then using ash black, I'm going to add some shadow just to the top edge of this, just to darken up where it meets the brush. Then going back in with burnt ochre, I'm going to go ahead and fill in a base coat on the actual brush itself, because I want this to be wooden, but I want it to be slightly darker than the palette. Then we're going to go in with cocoa brown, and I'm going to add some shade to this. So I'm going to shade where it meets the metal bit, because that would cast a little bit of a shadow on there. And then I'm going to take the shade down the right hand side, so just darken up that edge and lift the pressure as we bring the colour in towards the middle. So for this bottom section, again, I'm going to darken up where it comes underneath the palette and then drag it down the right hand side. And then going back in with burnt ochre, I'm going to go ahead and fill that in with a bit more pressure to blend it all together. Taking lilac, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the top section of this paintbrush because I want it to look like it's already been dipped in the colour. So I'm just using normal pressure on the top, and then I'm going to lift the pressure as we come towards the bottom. Then taking amethyst purple, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the bottom of the paintbrush. So I'm just going to use little up and down motions so that we don't get any straight lines and it just looks like it fades to a darker colour towards the bottom. Okay, next we're going to make a start on the parcel, and I'm going to go in with salmon pink, and I'm going to add a base coat to the actual parcel itself. I'm going to avoid the ribbons on it because I want to do that a different colour. Then taking plum purple, we're going to go ahead and add some shade. So because the light's coming from this direction, the shade's going to be on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shade here where the ribbon would be casting a shadow. I'm going to darken up this whole section here, just using light pressure, but adding a bit of this darker colour onto it, because this side would be away from the light. This top little section here will go ahead and darken up, and anything in between the bows. And we'll just add a little bit of shade on this top edge. Then going back in with salmon pink, we're going to go ahead and fill this in. So I'm going to go over where we added the darker colour first and see how this is looking in case we need to add any more of the purple shade. Okay, and I am going to go back in with the plum purple and just add a bit more shade to this. Then for the ribbon, we're going to go in with amethyst purple. What I'm going to do is go ahead and fill in the bottom section and the top section. And then just do really light pressure in the middle. This one I'm going to fill in completely because the light isn't catching it. This one I'm going to leave a little bit at the top, and the same for all of these bows. So I'm going to darken up the bottom section, but then when it comes to the top, I'm going to lift off the pressure so that the tops of the bows are the lightest point. And then here I'll just darken up where it comes from the middle. And then using really light pressure, I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of colour to these. Then going in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and go over where I left the lighter patches. So this will just bring it all together and just make it look like it is a natural highlight. So next, taking crimson red, I'm going to make a start on this letter, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the postal stamp. So just use normal pressure for that because I wanted that to be really dark red. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little sections here in between the black. So I'm just going to go over and add this colour in between. Then I'm going to go in with Sapphire Yellow and I'm going to do a base coat on the actual letter. You want to take it up to the red, but try not to go over it because it might bring the red further down. Then using Camel Brown, I'm going to add some shade to this. So I'm going to just use light pressure, but add a little bit of shade here where the fold of the envelope is. And then along this line here where the other fold is. We'll add a little bit of shadow here from the paint tray. And I think we'll go ahead and darken up this top section as well. Just up to this little line that Rita's put in. Then we'll go back over that with Sapphire Yellow just to make sure it's all blended out nicely. Next, going in with Orchid Purple, I'm going to make a start on this little book here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in a bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little flower here. And because it's so small, I'm literally just going to fill it in completely with this one colour. Next, taking Spearmint Green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little leaves that are on there as well. Again, I'm just going to fill these in completely because they are so tiny. But just to give it a hint of green. And then I think we might as well go ahead and fill in the other green leaves whilst we're here with the green. Next, I'm going to take Robin Egg Blue and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the background of this little picture that we've got on here. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in straight away. Then taking Flamingo Pink, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the sellotape that's holding it down. So I want that to be a nice bright colour. And we'll go ahead and do this sellotape the same. So I'm just going to fill this in. And all around the edge here. And around the edge of this piece. And whilst we've got Robin Egg Blue, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the sky in this picture. This is so tiny, you guys. Go ahead and do the sky in this one as well. Then we're going to go in with Tuscan Sun and go ahead and fill in the sunshines in these pictures. So we've got one in here, one in this one. Then I'm going to take Dolphin Grey and I'm going to go ahead and fill in these little mountains in this picture. And then taking Ash Black, I'm just going to go ahead and darken up the second one a little bit more because that's pushed a little bit further back. I'm going to use Lilac to go ahead and fill in the inside of this little ticket. Then taking Pink Macaroon, I'm going to go ahead and do these houses pink so that they all match. Then using Watermelon Pink, I'm going to fill in their roofs. Just realised I missed a little bit of the sky there, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. And then for this little bookmarker, we're going to use Flamingo Pink. So I'm going to go ahead and darken up the bottom and the top section. So just use normal pressure on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to lift the pressure as we come towards the middle. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go ahead and go over the light part that we've left. Blend that all together. For the paper, I'm going to go in with Peaches and Cream, and I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on this paper so that we get the paper tone down first. Then using Apricot, we're going to add a bit of shading. So I'm going to darken up this little section here behind the bookmark because that would be a little bit darker. And then I'm also going to darken up the back pages like this bit here. And under here. Then next I'm going to add a little bit of shade over where the writing is. So literally just go over it with light pressure and just add a little bit of colour over that. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go over where we left the lighter colour and blend this all together. Okay, so for the pencil, I'm going to do Flamingo Pink again, and I'm just going to do one section of the pencil. Then I'm going to go in with Lemon Yellow and I'm going to do the next section. Back in with Flamingo. And then back over that with the Lemon Yellow. So we've got a nice stripy pencil. I'm going to use Camel Brown to fill in the tip of the pencil. And then Burnt Orca to add a little bit of shade. So I'm just going to shade it at the bottom where it joins to the coloured part. Next, taking Periwinkle Blue, I'm going to make a start on these sweets. So I'm going to fill in the end parts of the sweets where it would be like a clear plastic, because I'll go over this with the white Posca pen after, but I just want to give it a little bit of colour so that it will stand out a little bit. Next, going in with Crimson Red, we're going to go ahead and do every other stripe on this suite. And we'll fill in the 2 side sections on this one. Then taking Cloudy Grey, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shadow to the top and the bottom of these sections, so it looks like it's a white and red suite. And then I'll add a little bit of shade to the one side of this one. Okay, so that's how it's looking so far, guys. So we've just got the little perfume bottle left to do. So I'm going to use Flamingo Pink to make a start on the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the bow. Then using Plum Purple, we're going to add some shade. So I'm going to shade here where it meets the knot, darken up the top. And I'm going to shade here where the little crease is, and over here. And then we'll just darken up again where it meets the knot and half of the knot itself. Then we'll go back in with Flamingo and go ahead and fill that in. Okay, so next, going in with Peony Pink, I'm going to start adding in the perfume. So I want this to be like a really pale pink colour, because I want it to be able to see like that there is something in the bottle. So I'm just going to fill this in to about halfway, just using light pressure so we don't get too much colour payoff. Then going back in with Peaches and Cream, I'm going to do a base coat on the label. Then going back in with Apricot, we're going to add some shade to the label. So I'm going to darken up this side here and along the bottom edge. We'll do the same for the inside part of the label. So just darken up that same side. And I'm going to just use Peony Pink and fill in this bottom section as well, because you would see the perfume through the bottom. Next, I'm going to go in with Periwinkle Blue, and what I'm going to do is make a start on this little bit of the background here. So where these little dots are, I'm going to go over with this colour, and I'm just using light pressure. And I'm going to take this over the perfume bottle as well. Fill in the inside parts of this with this colour. Then going in with Lavender, I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and add some of this colour into here. Then using Peony Pink, I'm going to go ahead and do light pressure and fill in the background on this section. Next, taking a white gel pen, I'm going to go ahead and start going around the lines on this perfume bottle. So I'm using a gel pen because you can get a smaller line, and this is quite a small little bottle. Might have to do it like 2 times to get it to really show up. do the same for the top. And we'll leave that to dry, and then we'll do a second coat on it once it's dry. So I'm going to do the same for the sweet. So I'm going to go around the edge here to make this look a little bit more see-through. And then I'm going to add some highlights to this little parcel and go over little here where we added the white bits to the ribbon. We'll add a highlight to this stamp on the sweets. And we'll do one on this metal piece here, a little bit on the top of the brush. And then for the background, I'm going to do some more little white dots in there because I wanted it to be like a pastel looking background. So I didn't use hard pressure when we were putting the colours down so that they stayed light looking. So we'll go ahead and add some little dots just to break all this up. Okay guys, so this is how it's looking. I've gone ahead and gone over, I'll just show you. I've gone over the glass a couple of times now with a white gel pen, so you can still see a little bit of the lines, but it just helps it stand out a little bit better. And then the sweets as well, you can see that I've gone over the white lines on them. But that's how this little picture turned out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.